Hey, you already know who it is, man. It's Baby Gas, aka the Ghetto Vato, and I'm sitting with Thizzler. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down low. Growing up in my family, they always called me BG. That was something that started off like with my dad and shit, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like when I started going into the whole rap shit, obviously there was already a BG from the Hot Boys, you know what I mean? Where we come from, I know the term gas was probably referred to dope smoke or whatever, but where we come from, that term gas, like gas and talking shit, was kind of originated. So I was always the youngest around people I grew up around, you know what I mean? Always. So that's where the baby came in place, and they was just talking that shit, so they just put that label on me and it stuck. Actually, I do. You feel me? I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I mean, I demand respect. That's just the thing. That's just how I move. You know what I mean? That's one of them things that I demand. So, when I was young, moving, I made sure I put in the actual work. I'm never the type of person to act like I deserve something and ain't put the footwork for it. You know what I mean? I've been around for a minute. You know what I mean? Y'all do your homework on me. So yeah, actually I do, man. You know what I mean? I ain't, as far as being slept on, I think that's a different category right there. But as far as respect and people knowing that I've been in this shit for a minute, yeah, I think I got the respect I deserve for sure. I do, and I think it ain't got nothing to do with people personally. You know what I mean? I think it has more to do with the generation and the type of music that we doing now. You know what I mean? People are looking for different shit in music, and I'm still faithful to the bars. And actually, I still believe they'll come back someday. You feel me? So I'm holding my ground. I mean, I think what that is basically like, you got two options. You either dumb it down lyrically, you know what I mean, or you really find the right production and the right angle to be able to really fit your style without having to switch it up for anybody. Because I mean, as far as adapting to the game, you got to. You know what I mean? You got to adapt to the new times, whether they'll come back or whether your style just left. You got to adapt. You know what I mean? That's a lot of how these OG people that still in the game peep them. You know what I mean? A lot of these OG niggas that's still relevant is because they don't hate. They adapt to what's new, and they cooking with the new generation. Well, as far as like, because I got two angles of it. I mean, from a fan of music, I fuck with it. You know what I mean? I rock with it because I slap a lot of the shit in my car. And what I listen to don't ever really reflect on how I rap. You feel me? That's kind of the thing right there. So I'll listen to a lot of shit that people wouldn't know. You know what I mean? Rock, country, all the shit. I'm with all the shit. You feel me? Salsa. I mean, I think it's just as far as like the game now, because not only in rap is the game new and changing. I mean, you got other things like reggaeton, you feel me? That's a whole new lane now. I mean, the music game period is changing, you feel me? As a fan of music, I'm fucking with it. As an artist, we go back to the subject where I say, you start feeling like you get a little slept on because the main platforms and media outlets are actually looking for what's hot right now, and that's a lot of the mumble rap. All right, so as far as like the process goes, the process was just, just me kind of telling a story. You know what I mean? The term Ghetto Vato comes from me being the only Hispanic in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Influenced by other cultures, you know what I mean? And kind of just getting used to and blending into the ghetto naturally. You know what I mean? Like growing up, I did come from, with illegals, you know what I mean? My parents are illegals, you know what I mean? So as far as like culture, I was never just adapted to the Mexican or Salvadorian culture, you feel me? I'm rocking with my Asians. We grew up eating Chinese food, soul food. I'm just a product of the ghetto, you feel me? And I was, it's kind of different for me. I know in my city, depending on where you grow up, you kind of grow up, you might grow up in sections where it's nothing but Hispanics. You might grow up in sections where it was none but blacks. But shit, for me, like I said, I kind of just came up in that little area and, you know, I learned a lot, not only of my culture, but everybody else's, you know what I mean? It kind of just started blending in there. So for the album, I'm storytelling all the way. Kind of backing up that Ghetto Vato, you know what I mean? Because people be like, why you talk like that? Or, you know, why you act like that? Or why you move like that? I'm just a product of my environment, you know what I mean? And that's the ghetto, you know what I mean? And I blend into every ghetto too. Take me anywhere, I blend in that motherfucker. As far as features go, man, it was never nothing like I don't go looking for who's popping. You know, I was basically listening to what I was creating in the studio, and when I listen back to it, I'm like, this person go dope on this. This person will go crazy on this. It was like something that just sparked in my mind. So I actually reached out to them people specifically, but I wasn't looking for who'd be willing to give me a verse, who'd be willing to work with me. I specifically thought of these artists while creating these songs, you know what I mean? And those are the type of things that I executed on, you know what I mean? As far as production, any producer I work with, I most likely got like a cool little history with them, you know what I mean? So we always sending shit back and forth. They sending me beats, I send what I do. And a lot of these producers on this album, I mean, DJ Chrissy Chris, Pixel Pushers, Mace Moolah, you know, all these producers, we always work hand in hand, so it was too easy, bro. The beats is always there. It was kind of like what direction I was going to take them that kind of defined what features I was going to get on there. Well, it's the intro. You know, if you want to be technical, it's the intro. Now, the thing with that record, it was really kind of like I said earlier, you know, I do a lot of music that's based on real life. They'll take you to an actual space where most of the time, shit, you want to just be to the neck. I always refer to my music as music that you listen to with your headphones in. You know what I mean? But people forget that I can really talk some shit. You know what I mean? So the whole Ghetto Vato record, I mean, from the production, shout out Mace Moolah on that. And the way that I just came off with no hook, no nothing, it was just me just basically reminding people that I really go bar for bar if we really want to, you know what I mean? And still keep that same little ratchet sound that they fucking with nowadays, you know what I mean? So that's how that came about. And like I said, it was just a quick little introduction, you know what I mean? Quick all bars all the way through. Man, like I said, I'm real involved with a lot of my shit. So I actually come up with a lot of the concepts. I'll probably say like 99% of my concepts. Any cameraman that I've ever worked with, I'm hiring them mostly for camera work. Creativity, I mean, I'm flooded in it. You know what I mean? So I actually thought about that. It was actually one of my partner's house, and I always envisioned that. You know, it's summer. I walk out this motherfucker right now, too. Big booty bitches watering my motherfucking plants, you know what I mean? And when it came down to it, I mean, that was the record to make that happen to. And I linked up with a videographer, you feel me, BTC Visuals. Little bro go crazy, only like 17, 18. But he was that vibe, got the special effects on there, you know, doing all the little crazy shit. It was fun, bro. It was actually like a little fun video to do. Like if you really look into it and kind of look closer in the video, I mean, you know, we was just fucking around. Had the old school headband on, Nike upside down, you know what I mean? Ass on the lawn, you know what I mean? All the shit. It was just fun, bro. It's one of them things for sure. I did have a twerk challenge. Unfortunately, you know, haters sometimes be taking the W, man. You know what I mean? People was actually reporting the videos before they could even be voted on, you know what I mean? So the whole purpose behind the twerk challenge was you were supposed to send us videos, we was gonna post it to the public, let the public pick. It wasn't about getting the most views, most tags, none of that. It was about who really threw that ass back the best, you know what I mean? And man, people was hating, man. I think the nigga must have seen his girl or baby mama on that motherfucker started hitting that report button, you know what I mean? But shit, it is what it is, man. I do appreciate anybody that participated in that motherfucker, and we might have to bring it back in another form sooner or later, for sure. Man, I kind of just wanted to go back on that little term, Ghetto Vato, on how that came about, right? I kind of just want everybody to kind of just peep game because, and this is mainly for the people outside of the Bay Area that are not familiar with how we move out here. I think it's big for people to really understand where that term come from. Because like I said, I get that a lot. You know, being Hispanic, people be like, why you talk like that? Or, you know, some people be like, man, you trying to be black. Or, you know, they'll come, I mean, we hear that all the time. But people don't know how we move out here. I grew up in a black and brown community. And the only thing that made it black and brown was my addition, you know what I mean? Everybody else was in there was black, you know what I mean? And I never felt out of place. I mean, I'm talking about when I was going to school, like when I was probably like 8, 9, you know, I used to play for the Little Warriors over there at Tassafaranga. And I was the only Mexican on my basketball team. I didn't know how to fucking play, you know what I mean? For sure, I didn't know how to fucking play. But I was the only Mexican on a basketball team, and it was lit, bro. Everybody, it was never like a thing where I ever felt out of place. I actually, like I said, you know, I tell this to people all the time. Before I even knew about the Hispanic culture, I knew about the black culture, you know what I mean? And for the people that don't know, if you really want to take it back, before I used to rap, when I was a kid, I used to be more on that singing shit, you know what I mean? Before I hit puberty, you know what I mean? And one of the things that I always used to do, I used to, at school, I was like one of the main kids that they would draft to go sing at the Opera Theater in San Francisco for Black History Month, you know what I mean? I did a Harriet Tubman song, Martin Luther King song, and I actually came home with 2 gold medals and a bronze medal. That's facts, you know what I mean? That's facts. You want to take it back a little, back history, you know what I mean? That's real facts. My mom used to be like, the fuck? I'm not taking you over there. You can't go over there. My teachers used to call my mom like, you don't understand, this is one of our golden students. We'll personally take them and bring them back home if you have to work. And that was one of the things right there. So people need to understand that before you even talk about how I move or how I talk or how I act, like, you know, I was really raised in the middle of all this shit, you know what I mean? It's like fucking Tarzan in the jungle, you know what I mean? Nigga just became a product of his environment, and that's exactly what happened to me. I can't change that, you know what I mean? I'm still tapped in, and I'm really tapped in with my own culture. I actually lived in Mexico 2009 to 2010. I lived in Mexico out there, you know what I mean? So I actually lived like an actual Mexican. Nigga, I used to sell cheese and, you know, did all the shit, struggle like them out there, had 1 pair of shoes, ate beans and rice every day. Like I said, any ghetto I blend into. And that's where that term come from.